me, Bren, and I'm out in my garden today to do this video. I want to do a shout out to a few of my favorite trees and perennials and shrubs that are putting on some beautiful color this time of year. So I hope you will check this video out, and I really hope you're inspired to grow some of them in your own garden. So here we are outside of my sunroom, and this tree is just gorgeous. This is a maple, and this is probably one of the few that I have that actually turns a reddish orange in the autumn, and it's just beautiful. As you can see, it's a little messy, but not really. I love it. This step, I have little gardens. This is a Japanese maple I put in a couple years back. I had an older Japanese maple here, but it really struggled, and one year it just died. I'm not quite sure what happened. I'm guessing it might have been the soil up here, but I'm not sure. It's kind of neat this time of year because a lot of the hostas will start to turn yellow. I have a really pretty older hosta I planted in the back behind ivy growing in here. You want to be careful when you plant ivy in any part of your garden. These areas are kind of restricted, so it can't go too crazy, but it still does. You need to get back along the house, which I have yet done this summer. That's one of my jobs this weekend, is to cut that ivy back. You do not want that to grow up into your siding. That could be really bad. I'll show you later in the video more ivy climbing a tree and how you're going to want to clean that back. But this is just a video of some of the color that I just love. I did not expect to see those little yellow shrubs right there. Those are actually not shrubs. Those are a perennial hibiscus, and it's beautiful. It's my that one turns, I forget the name of that one. It might be Cranberry Crush. I'm not quite sure. Anyhow, it's just gorgeous all year round. This time of year, it's got that pretty yellow, which is perfect under the maple tree. And then my bald cypress back there is just starting to turn orange, a rusty color, before all those leaves will fall. Up off the porch, I have various hostas, coral bells, sedum, ivy, and more Spirea. I love Spirea. It's such a cool plant. The color is just really neat this time of year, and the blooms are about done. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you'll get a bloom late in the autumn season from this plant. I kind of cut it back, but every now and then I'll still see a little bee up on what's left of a few little blooms there. I have a Capertina there, 9 bark, and yeah. I have a few new mums this year that I've mixed in with my silver swirl, which is basically a Dusty Miller on steroids. I love this plant. In fact, let me walk over to the plants that got full sun this summer are right over here. These are that new silver swirl. I love this plant. Oh, it's still gorgeous. Look at it. I'm going to leave these two in to see, this one and this one, to see how they do through the winter. They're rated at a zone 6, so they might actually survive here, especially if we have a mild winter. But I just love them. Look how pretty they are. Low maintenance, and they are just stunning, that silver blue color. And I really like it because it echoes my pine tree I have back in the back area there, if you can see it back near the gazebo, kind of. So I've got the silver here. Oh, a little bird just landed on the top of my pine tree back there. The one I'm talking about. Thanks there. Anyhow, mixed in with the silver swirl here, you'll find I've got a couple of low-growing barberry and sedum, and of course some more different coral bells, and there's some daylily that's cut back, but just so pretty even this time of year. The grasses are some of my favorite here. That one is huge, it's so tall. And I leave it growing like that all through the summer into late winter. Once it's dry enough over in that area, I get in there and I will end up cutting that back to about a foot with my electric hedgers. Just because it's really pretty in the winter time. Right now it's just gorgeous. In fact, let me get over there close to here so you can see when the leaves or the stems of this grass start dying back a bit, taking on that autumn color. It's just so pretty. Over by the pond, I have a couple more different grasses as well, but neat. Once things start dying back and they actually start decomposing, I'll throw them way out in the front where the deer will get it. There's a corn pile out there actually right now, and also various other wildlife will eat on the pumpkins as they break down. So it's kind of a win-win. I get to enjoy them right now, and then later in the season the wildlife will. Under my maple a couple of years ago, I put brick around it and kind of built up the landscape a little bit. I've been experimenting with different hostas that will grow well under here. This time of year I usually stick some mums in there like you see. I dug up most of my variegated spider plant. There's one left there. In fact, I'm going to dig that one up today because tonight's supposed to get down to 33, probably the lowest we've had this season. And that will not survive, but it was real pretty this year when I had a bunch of the spider lily growing around this garden, and they're all plants I started from the babies of the mama plant that I bought years ago. I love when you can find them, these ornamental cabbage plants in the sun this time of year in the cool temperatures, just like leaves. Those cabbage plants get gorgeous. It's got some really unique color to them. I have another one right over here. So pretty. Alright, so over in this garden, I'm constantly working on this space here. I have mostly Spirea in there, but I've added a new plant, and I always forget the name of it, so I'll put it at the bottom of the video here so you can look it up. It's really cute, the difference. I mean, the color is very similar to the Spirea plants, but it has little light blooms on it that have been like that most of the summer. As autumn's arrived in the cooler temperatures, they've taken on these pretty burgundy and darker green leaf tones. I love that. They're so pretty. I put a new conifer in there. That one is a cypress. It's called Soft Serve. So we'll see how well it does up here. This is kind of a clay, dry, somewhat loomy area. And yeah, we'll see how that does. I had a little bird's nest I put in over there, and that one is still doing just fine as well. But it's a work in progress up here always. And you walk around this way, Spirea. See the ivy is on my list today because I need to get in there, and I'm going to cut back the weeds that are in there and cut that ivy back because it will choke the tree. I've noticed before on a couple of branches that I let it go, I ended up having to cut the branches back. But you can see it here on the bird bath. It'll just keep on climbing if you let it. Luckily along here where I mow, it kind of stops for the most part. But it's a pretty ground cover. These larger leaves in here, I want to point out, I've done videos on these before. Those are my hellebores or Linton Rose. Some of my favorite year-round. It keeps its leaves most of the winter. It just kind of gets matted down in the winter. I'm thinking about even hopefully getting some more to put up in the middle more so, because that's ivy out there as well. I've already kind of cut back the 2 hydrangeas I have out there. They're older hydrangeas. They haven't really done very well the last few years. I'm not quite sure if I will end up pulling those out and replacing them. Maybe with a limelight or something like that. Those are just really, they kind of struggle there. The little shrub in the middle, tree in the middle, that is a North Pole that the deer got at last spring. It did put on some height, and hopefully this year I can keep the deer away from it so it starts filling out. The North Pole Arborvitae is a vigorous grower, they say, and it also will only reach about 10 feet, which is perfect right there. I wouldn't mind a little border there, plus it's a nice place for the birds to hide out and things like that. But all right, and some more of the ivy. It looks pretty climbing up this variegated birch, but it can do some damage. And an older Spirea. Pretty color. This one's like a almost a chartreuse color in the autumn, and then the leaves around it here below are once again more of my hellebores. Those are part of the wedding collection variety that you can find them at Walter's Garden. If you are a garden center, you can order from them. Otherwise, you'll find them on the major perennial providers. This guy, I've been having dreams about what am I going to do with this. Literally, it's another one of my fig trees. This one has not produced fruit ever. It primarily lived in my dome, and in the summer here I brought it out and it just loved it out here. However, I know all the leaves are going to fall back. They don't do well in our winters here in Ohio. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe move it back into the dome. It's just so big, and it's okay. I mean, it's a neat plant, but I don't know if I really have the space for it. We'll see. Stay tuned. Of course, burning bush. This is an old burning bush, and I've got some volunteer weed shrubs growing in here with the bridal veil that I need to cut out of there. But I'm doing some work over here today, so stay tuned. Some new shrubs going in and weeding and whatnot. So they say that this burning bush, especially the older varieties, drop or they spread and they're invasive. And I have never had that happen. These were here when we moved in over 20 years ago. There's a couple throughout the yard. And you can tell they were planted where they're planted because there's not a bunch of babies popping up. There's some way out front there as well. Just a couple. And so I've just been watching them over the year. And then last year I noticed there is a baby coming up. It liked the conditions up here. And this soil up here stays somewhat moist and shaded and protected. So maybe that's what made it drop and actually produce. I'm going to dig that out and move it. I love burning bushes. I'm actually going to put it way out front there so it can grow nice and big like its mama here and turn bright red like that. It's pretty. All right. I think I left the tag in this one. This struggled a little bit this year. Look at all this dieback on here. Yikes. This is actually supposed to be, the tag showed it yellow, but because I have it planted in full shade for the most part, it stays this light green. But the reason I planted it here was to block the kitchen outside grill station, and it's doing a great job. I've had those in, boy, I think it's been 5 years now, and I haven't had to prune them back. They're probably about to their maximum size, so they look pretty good. They're doing a good job there. Got some periwinkle ground cover next to my azalea. This one's doing beautiful this year because it's been nice and warm. It loves these conditions up here. The blooms are coming on. And this is my black lace, which is in the elderberry family, I believe. Beautiful plant. This one I let go crazy this year. Climb up the window. It was gorgeous. It provided some natural shade. And about a month ago, I went ahead and cut it back. And it's doing fine. It would have been a little fuller, but I kind of cut it back during the dry season. So hopefully it recovers. And hydrangea. Well, thanks for checking out my video today. You can find this and other creative living ideas on my website at brenhaas.com. I hope to see you there.